Coming to you from the Hudson Media Group studio, this is Talking Politics. And I am New Jersey's premier and now 10-time award-winning journalist. Top Latino was voted on by the Latino Spirit Online magazine, along with the United States Latino Affairs Initiative. And certainly I'll continue to be the weapon of mass disruption in Garden State media, because my level of honesty, now more than ever, ladies and gentlemen, is truly necessary in this era of journalistic deception. That's right, folks. It is I, the generational talent here in New Jersey media, Fernando Uribe. Hoping you're all having a wonderful start to October. Hey, it's the baseball playoffs. The NFL is well underway. The NBA and NHL return shortly. And without a doubt, folks, listen, I don't know about you, but I love Halloween. It can't get here fast enough for me during this frightful season. But of course, there's always frightful things to talk about here on this show. So let's get started. Here's what I'm thinking about right now. And yes, folks, happy October to everybody. And of course, it is sort of the fright month. And of course, every night's fright night, whether we're watching movies, catch up on documentaries, whatever the case may be, or even getting ready for Halloween. Yes, folks, it's also a very scary time in American politics. With less than 30 days to go, we'll obviously be going to the voting booth on the 5th of November, or even voting by mail or voting early, as it does begin later on this month. And we'll be deciding who indeed will be the 47th president of the United States, along with obviously every House seat in the House of Representatives, of course, various U.S. Senate seats all across this country, even here in the Garden State. But folks, I've been saying it consistently on this show and my other program, Real Talk with Fernando Uribe, on the Jersey First television network. And listen, you don't have to like Donald Trump. You don't have to be a fan of the 45th president. But there's no denying, folks, and we've seen plenty of receipts in recent days and weeks, Kamala Harris is either intentionally dooming her campaign or she's completely oblivious. Now, again, I think it's an indictment of her handlers who have been literally tracking her out there for different interviews. If you caught her over the weekend on 60 Minutes or even on The View this week with those insufferable feminists and cat ladies on ABC, folks, you could tell that Kamala Harris and whatever joy her campaign represented is quickly eroding. Now, again, I don't go by polls. I think we've all learned going back to 2016 that you can't trust any polling. But what we're seeing right now is a sort of enthusiasm that no longer surrounds the current vice president. Yes, we saw it during the Democrat National Convention when, dignitary after dignitary came out, sort of making the case that Kamala Harris is a good successor for Joe Biden. All right? And let's be fair, I never saw so many American flags at a Democrat event in my adult life, since, let's be honest, they're never there to begin with. But one of the things about Kamala Harris that we're learning, folks, is that, yes, you can be very book smart, but not life smart. And that's what we're seeing from the current vice president. And sure, many of you want to say, well, she held her own in the debate against Donald Trump last month. Sure, yes. And how well she was coached, I don't know. But folks, when she isn't coached and has to go on sort of a spontaneous interview, as she has over the weekend, right? And you would think that the establishment media wants to protect Kamala Harris at all costs, right? I mean, obviously they love seeing a Democrat in the White House and they love seeing Democrat majorities in both the House and United States Senate. But it seems like that's not how the tide is turning right now. Again, whether it's in Pennsylvania, whether it's in Wisconsin, Michigan, Georgia, Florida, and again, my heart goes out to all the people of Florida right now going through just terrible times through multiple tropical storms. Again, we send our hope and prayers to everyone there in the Sunshine State. But whether it's Nevada or Arizona, folks, we're seeing the disastrous policies of the Joe Biden administration. And how interesting for Sleepy Joe to come out last week to actually address the press, which he very rarely does, and talked about very simply that his sheet is the same sheet that Kamala Harris is running off of. Folks, isn't that an indictment? Folks, isn't that just damning that the sitting president is essentially throwing his vice president under the bus? And we've seen Kamala Harris, with her own words, tell you that, yes, she wouldn't change a thing of the last 3.5 years. Don't believe me? Folks, the receipts are there. Go to YouTube. Go to Rumble. Go to True Social. Go to Twitter. You'll find it. Folks, it's not easy to locate. Okay? And one of the things that we're learning about this disastrous campaign of Kamala Harris is that she doesn't have any real policies. Now, again, I get it. You don't like Donald Trump. And hell, there are moments I don't like Donald Trump. He could be brash, braggadocious, obnoxious, maybe at times even insufferable. But guess what? I kind of like that brand of politics, and so do many other people. The only difference is I have the guts to say that openly. But I do care about policy. Okay? And being an academic myself, not just as a broadcast journalist, but I care about policy. And say what you want, folks, but not enforcing immigration law the way this administration has for the last 3 years has been outright disastrous. Okay? I've talked about sovereignty on this program and my other media programs. Folks, you don't have to be an attorney to just simply read the Constitution. And I remember I took it in grad school. And once again, shout out to Dr. Elizabeth Hull at Rutgers University in Newark at the graduate school for her insightful course about constitutional law. Coincidentally, I got an A in that class. But folks, it was one of my favorite classes in grad school. And in there, I remember distinctly learning about sovereignty and the importance of sovereignty and how Article 3, Section 3 of the Constitution tells us about the responsibility of the federal government to ensure sovereignty. Is that what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have done for the last 3.5 years? When they took the oath of office on January 20th, 2021, have they fulfilled their oath of office? I mean, on multiple levels, the answer is an emphatic no. But when it comes to, again, protecting our border and not allowing, folks, and let's be honest about what we've seen. We have seen an influx of illegals coming into our cities. And isn't it funny, 6 years ago, then Senator Kamala Harris would tell anybody with a camera that, building a border wall is downright racist and xenophobic. It doesn't matter if it costs $10 billion. We're better than that as Americans. Well, folks, 6 years later, what has the Biden-Harris administration done? They spent over $500 billion to house illegals in various cities all across this country. To say nothing of the fact, folks, and let's be honest, this is not a conspiracy theory, but how convenient that we've seen a busing of illegals into certain swing states. Is the modus operandi maybe to try to, fast-track citizenship to change those states permanently into blue states? Would you put that past the Democrat Party at the national level? Of course not, because we know how shady they can be. But folks, never mind that. And I don't want to sort of engage in conspiracies. Again, if you want to believe it, that there is one or there isn't. But the bottom line is this. The border has been a disaster for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. The economy has been a disaster. Drilling domestically is something that, again, folks, you want to be energy independent and not depend on foreign oil in the marketplace, then that's where it starts. Now, again, listen, I think we have to be environmentally responsible. No one wants to see oil disasters or other environmental problems. Of course not. No one wants to see that. But what infuriates me as an American is that there seems to be all of this pressure and concentration on how much Americans pollute. Folks, have you seen what India does in terms of pollution? Have you seen what China has done in terms of pollution? Folks, these are countries with more than 1 billion people inhabiting those countries. And they pollute at an astronomically higher level than we ever could. But somehow it's always the fault of the United States. Somehow it's always the fault of America for not being more green and not believing more in climate change. Folks, you can believe that we have to protect the environment without subscribing to nonsensical green policies that we've all seen have been a disaster. Look no further than 3,000 miles away to the West Coast in California. Californians in the Golden State during this summer had to sort of make decisions about whether to charge their vehicles or turn on the air conditioning in their house because the power grids didn't allow for both. We're seeing that in different states, even in this state here. The Emperor, Phil Murphy, again, is mandating that by 2027, long after he's gone already, thank the Lord, the New Jerseyans will be mandated to have to only purchase electric vehicles. Folks, I think we're all going to learn real quick how disastrous that policy is going to be. Because the power grid here in New Jersey isn't any better than it is in California. But again, folks, what we're seeing by Democrats at the national level is this sort of blatant attempt to make you believe that Kamala Harris, who, again, won as many primaries as, the number of fingers on my hand. Now, again, if my hand had no fingers, that's the amount Kamala Harris has won. And the process should have been fairer for Democrats, right? Since Democrats are always talking about democracy and preserving democracy and protecting democracy. Folks, it's about protecting the republic. And what Democrats did basically is shove Kamala Harris down our throats during what should have been some sort of primary process. You're not happy with Joe Biden? And of course, can you blame him? Okay? Well, if you don't want Joe Biden, we all learned that in June after that disastrous performance against Donald Trump at the debate, and we started seeing what polling was demonstrating, and we started seeing, let's be honest, folks, the policies of this administration have been a disaster for the economy, for the border, for our own sovereignty, okay? And isn't it interesting that during this election season, people seem to be more fixated on abortion than they are about the fact that World War III is possibly coming, okay? That the threat of nuclear war probably has never been more real than it is now, than what's going on in the Middle East. And again, folks, whoever you take sides with, again, that's not my point here. But that's what this administration has amplified. A disastrous foreign policy, a disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, horrendous domestic policies that have suffocated us at the grocery stores, that have suffocated us at the gas pumps, that have, folks, let's be honest, it's brought down our 401ks. Have you checked yours lately? I know I have. Folks, these are policies that have not worked. You can say what you want about Donald Trump, but I can remember from 2017 to early 2021, and I get it, we're still sort of trying to recover from COVID and everything else, and I get all that. But folks, pre-COVID, folks, did you look what the economic climate was in this country? Did you look at what gas prices were like? Did you see how take-home pay was considerably better? Did you see, quite honestly, how there were no foreign conflicts whatsoever? Folks, there's something to be said about the importance of peace through strength. We learned that with Ronald Reagan, God rest his soul. And Ronald Reagan wasn't the most perfect president either, let's be honest. I mean, he was a very flawed man. But there's no denying in his 2 terms what he did in toppling the Soviet Union, the big bad bear out in the East. That's what Donald Trump did here, right? Did you ever hear any sort of misbehaviors by Russia, Iran, North Korea? No, folks, everybody was pretty much in check there. Now, you might say that's Fernando being a little hyperbolic. Okay, cool, whatever. I don't recall the foreign turmoil that we're seeing now from 2017 to 2021. Now, again, folks, the reason that Kamala Harris is doing so badly in the polls right now is because Americans see through her fake persona. Americans are seeing her boss, the President of the United States, basically throwing her under the bus right now. Because for everything that he's standing by these policies, guess what? She's standing by them too. Don't believe me? Folks, the receipts are online. And they're easy to find. Now, again, you have a choice on November the 5th. It's less than 30 days to go. Mail-in ballots have gone out. Early voting begins next week here in New Jersey and, of course, in various parts across the country. Or you can vote on Election Day. The bottom line is this, folks. Kamala Harris is essentially, and for every term that you could probably put out there, she's an appendage to Joe Biden. They're a team. This administration is a team. The idea that she's trying to sell you on this fact that, oh, well, I can fix what's going on right now. No, honey, you've had well over 1,361 days to work with the President of the United States to fix the problems that you have created. To believe that you're going to fix it on day one, on January 20, 2025, folks, the Jets have a better chance of winning the Super Bowl, okay, than seeing that anytime soon. Again, you have options on November the 5th, folks, but one of them certainly should not be Kamala Harris. I get it. You don't like Donald Trump. Hey, folks, guess what? There's a lot of exes we go back to sometimes as well, and we do it for different reasons. Sometimes the sex is great. Sometimes we're comfortable. Sometimes we know what to expect. And sometimes we just know what worked before. Well, again, I've gone back to plenty of exes. It's worked sometimes. It's currently working now. Folks, it'll work again too. On November the 5th, you know what the options are. It's voting red up and down the ballot. And that's what I'm thinking about right now. And now some local stories for your consideration. And a special thank you to John R. Hines, the editor-in-chief of the Hudson County View, also a fellow Rutgers alumnus, and a member of the Pinnacle for making this editorial available online. Now, shout out to Hoboken resident Denise Guarino for an exceptional point of view about what's going on in the city of Hoboken and how residents are facing inequality under the Ravi Bala administration. So it starts out by saying, Dear Editor, October is Italian Heritage Month. In a time of significant division in America, it's the responsibility of our local politicians to strive towards unity by treating everyone with equal dignity and respect. Bravo, Denise. Currently, Hoboken residents are facing an inequality under Mayor Ravi Bala's leadership. Are you kidding? Mayor Ravi Bala being incompetent? No me diga. Really? Wow, that's a shocker. All right, a few years back, our mayor had initially refused to raise an Italian flag at City Hall to honor Italian Heritage Month. Several prominent members of the Italian American community, including business owners, were told there would be no raising of the Italian flag for Italian Heritage Month. Upon my request to One Voice Coalition, an Italian American organization, the late Dr. Manny Alfano sent a strongly worded letter to the mayor, resulting in the flag being raised. However, the flag raising occurred abruptly in the middle of the day without prior community notice, and the flag was displayed for just one day. Mayor Bala, of course, took the opportunity to capture a photo for himself during the occasion. Of course, folks, I mean, if there's ever been an attention whore in Hudson County politics, folks, find me someone worse than Mayor Ravi Bala. The guy is an insufferable attention whore. And it's one of the things that really, really makes him unlikable, but more on that later. Denise goes on to say, I urge our city council and administration to establish a consistent schedule for flag raisings, ensuring that each flag honoring a group, cause, or heritage is displayed for the same duration of time. I mean, folks, let's be honest, during Pride Month, I mean, the Alphabet Army gets 30 days, if not more days during the year, right, for their pride flags. I mean, really, is it too much to ask that other groups be given the same courtesy? Of course not, because, in Hoboken, they care more about pronouns than they do about property taxes. So we kind of know where the woke agenda drives the Mile Square City. But again, let me continue. During the Black Lives Matter protests, right, as we all remember, 4 summers ago, right, as people were burning down and looting cities all in the name of a career criminal, George Floyd, right, the mayor passionately spoke about ensuring equality in Hoboken, yes, as all the white residents that talk about equality are sending their kids to charter schools. Yes, it's those same white liberals that will talk about equity and diversity and inclusion, and we're all about supporting people of color. Yeah, that's until your white kids are given the opportunity to go to a charter school instead of sending them to Hoboken public schools. Yeah, that's when white liberals don't really talk the talk. But anyway, however, there's been no discernible changes, advocacy, or additional events for the Hoboken African-American community since that time. Really? You're kidding? In the 4 years, well, really, the Black Lives Matter movement started sometime after 2013, after the death of Trayvon Martin. Really? You mean to tell me that Black Lives Matter as an organization hasn't hosted a barbecue or set up a scholarship fund or a mortgage fund to help black families? Oh, spoiler alert, they haven't. It's been a sham. If anything, what BLM stands for is buy large mansions, and that's what the hierarchy and the leadership has done for Black Lives Matter. But again, let's not digress. Why were the crosswalks never painted in red, black, and green in tribute to our black community? Yeah, right? I mean, it's cool to walk around and being like, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, or this is what democracy looks like. The same typical BS, talking points that we hear from the woke fools in Hoboken, all the social justice clowns, and all the toxic progressives. Yes, that's all well and good during the BLM summer of love, right? As we saw cities and, public and private property alike being burned to the ground and destroyed. But again, we have to make sure that Ravi Bala was telling everybody how down he is with people of color, right? So, of course, Denise again brings up another good point. Why not green, orange, and white to honor the Irish immigrants who played a vital role in building and supporting our town? Gee, I wonder why Ravi Bala doesn't do that. Sure, it'd be great if you brought back the St. Patrick's Parade in Hoboken. That'd be, I think, a good community event. Instead of cracking down on bars during Leprechaun, which again helps the economy for nightlife and hospitality. Again, Ravi Bala thinks that we live in Paramus down in the Mile Square City. No, the downtown area with all the bars and restaurants are a critical part of the city's economy. But don't tell that to Ravi Bala. I mean, he can barely practice law, much less do anything else. We're all happy to celebrate our neighbors, Denise writes. My request this October during Italian Heritage Month is that the city paints the crosswalks outside of City Hall red, white, and green. They are painted each June in honor of our LGBTQ plus A minus 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, whatever, which is a wonderful tribute. It's always a joyous celebration and fun affirming the days for our LGBTQ community. All right, whatever. However, it seems that is one of the biggest ways our mayor virtue signals to only one community for his own political narrative. Denise, bravo. I've been saying that on this show and in my other show, Real Talk, which, by the way, you can catch every Monday night live at 6 p.m. on the Jersey First Television Network via YouTube, StreamYard, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. But of course, the fact that Ravi Bala is trying to do something to suit his own political narrative is nothing new, folks. There are no accolades for him if he allows other colors to be painted throughout the year. Streets are public property, and each group should have the ability to be honored equally in the same way. Sincerely, Denise Guarino, Hoboken resident. Denise, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to try to find you on social media. If I can interview you, I'm going to do that, because I got to tell you, you hit it out of the ballpark with every single talking point in this editorial. What have I been saying about Ravi Bala for the longest time? Right? An attention whore who is just hungry to be vindicated and be loved by all these groups in Hoboken and all, again, the woke fools, the social justice clowns that kiss his ass every single day. That's what he lives for, right? But again, Ravi is so loved that he got literally smoked during this year's primary in the 8th Congressional District against the current incumbent U.S. Representative, Rob Menendez. And of course, there's rumors now that Ravi Bala wants to run for assembly in 2025, or maybe even run for state senate in 2027. Folks, what Ravi Bala is going to become is this perpetual campaigner. Yes, he can win elections in Hoboken, but that's also coming to an end. Now, who's going to succeed him remains to be seen. I'm hearing whispers that, the prom queen, Miss Cheerleader herself, Emily Jabor, might be the next in line to run under the Bala ticket. Well, we'll see. I mean, God knows Mike Russo's got to get off his ass and announce his candidates at some point. Whether Ruben Ramos does that or anybody else remains to be seen. But if we're looking to clean up Hoboken, if we're looking to make it a better city, I'm hoping that these people get off their asses and start announcing candidacy soon. Because if you don't, we're going to be stuck with Emily Jabor, and that's pretty much just going to be an extension of what currently resides right now at City Hall on Washington Street. And that'd be 4 more years of woke nonsense, pronouns before property taxes, not addressing parking, not addressing affordable housing. But again, folks, you got to remember, we got to paint those sidewalks and those crosswalks rainbow colors every June, because we got a virtue signal. Because if we don't, hey, we're not coddling people enough in Hoboken. Folks, bravo to Denise Guarino for stating the obvious about Hoboken. And you know what? More residents should speak up too. Let's move a little bit north into Hudson County, into the townships of Guttenberg, West New York, and North Bergen collectively. And a special thank you once again to John Hines, the editor of the Hudson County View, for his reporting on this story. Hudson County will indeed spend $3 million to improve North Hudson bike lanes on River Road. Now, Hudson County will spend approximately $2.962 million to resurface and improve bike lanes on River Road located in West New York, Guttenberg, and North Bergen, following approval from the Board of Commissioners last week. Now, according to Hudson County Executive Craig Guy, the Hudson County Vision Zero Action Plan is a critical focal point of my administration. And I'm excited to see this project take Hudson County one step closer to establishing safer roads for all motorists and cyclists. I am proud and thrilled that the County Board of Commissioners accepted a bid to resurface River Road and improve the existing bike lanes to make River Road safe for all residents of West New York, North Bergen, and Guttenberg. Included in the project are a number of proven safety countermeasures as set forth by the Federal Highway Administration, and will align with the goals of the forthcoming Hudson County Vision Zero Action Plan. These include bike lanes, high-friction surfaces at curves, reflective backplates on traffic signals, high-visibility crosswalks, centerline rumble stripes, as well as dedicated left and right turn lanes. River Road will be milled and resurfaced from Anthony DeFino Way to south of Churchill Road. Now, the northbound right lane and southbound right lane will be shared bike lanes from Anthony DeFino Way to the Palisades Medical Center. Now, from Palisades Medical Center to Bulls Ferry Road, the existing lanes and turn lanes will remain with striping shifted to the west. This will allow for a northbound and southbound bicycle lane alongside the northbound vehicular lanes. A 2-foot wide concrete island will be constructed to separate vehicular lanes from the bicycle lanes. The concrete islands will be 20 feet in length with a 12-foot gap in between delineators, and that will fill the 12-foot gap. The project will consist of 2-inch roadway milling and 2-inch pavement resurfacings. Provisions are included for full pavement reconstruction, which will be where it's necessarily required. And curb ramps will be reconstructed at every intersection. Folks, this is cute, and I get it. Much like downtown Jersey City and a lot of the heights, even parts of downtown Union City, we're seeing bike lanes all over the place. Folks, I don't think it's a good idea on River Road. You ever driven on River Road? It can be quite hellacious, whether it's during morning gridlock or afternoon gridlock. I can tell you, folks, bicyclists can't even ride their bicycles correctly and observe traffic signals and traffic laws in many parts of northern Hudson County, whether it's on Burger Line Avenue or Kennedy Boulevard. To even do this on River Road, again, with all due respect to the county executive, I respectfully disagree. I get it. We're trying to get people to drive less cars. That's all well and good, folks. But if you don't fix mass transit, if you don't put sort of the boot on the neck of New Jersey Transit as an organization, then we're never going to get anywhere. But again, yes, let's cater to the bike crowds, and that's all well and good. But folks, that's a disaster waiting to happen. Have you seen some of the actions with bicyclists in northern Hudson County or in parts of Hoboken and Jersey City? They might even get worse on River Road in northern Hudson County. We'll wait and see, folks, but usually I'm not wrong about things like this. Lastly, folks, it is October and it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And as you know, I've been dedicated to the American Cancer Society and making strides against breast cancer since 2008 to raise money and help raise awareness. A professor's quest to save breasts will emanate from the world-famous Ventanas at the Modern, located at 200 Park Avenue in Fort Lee, New Jersey. For all my friends across the river in New York, it's easily accessible via the George Washington Bridge. And of course, for my friends here on the Jersey side, it's easily accessible via the Garden State Parkway, New Jersey Turnpike, and of course, Route 46. I look forward to seeing you on Saturday night, October the 19th, with festivities starting at 9 p.m. And I'll be joined by my amazing co-hosts, Vladimir Carrero, Emily Amato, and Jacqueline Rodriguez. We are asking for a suggested donation of $20 at the door. We'll have exceptional music by DJ David Jones. We'll have wonderful raffle prizes available during the evening. And of course, folks, excellent networking opportunities all night long. So we'll be partying from 9 p.m. until closing time, which is approximately 2 a.m. Eastern time. So come out and mark on your calendars for Saturday night, October the 19th, for the 2024 edition of A Professor's Quest to Save Breasts. Our proceeds benefit the American Cancer Society and making strides against breast cancer. Folks, I'll see you Saturday night, October the 19th. Please bring friends. There'll be valet parking available as well, folks. And together, we can defeat breast cancer once and for all. And that's our show for this week. Once again, to check out all the excellent programming brought to you by the leader in independent media right here in Hudson County, please check out the Hudson Media Group on their YouTube page. Of course, make sure you like them on Facebook and follow them on Instagram and Twitter. I can't say enough about, really, their CEO and executive producer, Patrick O'Malley, for his belief in my abilities in this show since it's been going strong since April of 2019. Folks, I'll keep raising hell for you and representing all of you here in Hudson County with the issues that matter most to you. And I really appreciate the support and the great staff I work with here at the Hudson Media Group. Always remember, folks, make sure you check out all my social media handles. And, of course, make sure that you check out episodes every single week. Only takes 2 seconds to like, comment, and share, and let everyone know how much you enjoy Talking Politics with Fernando Uribe and all the great programming brought to you here by the Hudson Media Group, which includes Hudson County View Live on Wednesdays, of course, Stick at Night with Hudson County Commissioner Anthony Romano, and all the exceptional programming brought to you by other talents here with the Hudson Media Group. Always remember, ladies and gentlemen, if it's unbiased, unfiltered, and unafraid, it's always Talking Politics right here with the Hudson Media Group. I am New Jersey's premier and now 10-time award-winning journalist. Top Latino is voted on by the Latino Spirit Online magazine and the United States Latino Affairs Initiative, along, obviously, with being the weapon of mass disruption in Garden State media, because my level of honesty, folks, now more than ever is truly necessary in this era of journalistic deception. That's right, folks. It's me, the generational talent of Hudson County media. That's right, folks. It's me, Fernando Uribe, saying so long, everybody. Take care of your neighbors. Please party responsibly. And always remember, when we think about the future of journalism, think about it. You can't spell future without the letters FU. And guess what? You can't spell Fernando Uribe either. I'll see you next time here, folks, with the Hudson Media Group.